Thank you. Have a section.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil ji. Thank you, Prakash ji, for such a wonderful session. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to everyone. Warm welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you and very happy Dev Uttayani Ekadashi also. Thank you. Over to you, Nitin ji. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Pallavi ji, and thank you, Prakash ji, Sunil bhai, for a wonderful session. And a very happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Hope you are overflowing with gratitude today, right from the moment you got up from the bed, and will continue till you sleep. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. We'll get started with our session by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. So let me share my screen and we will get started. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so let's get started. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurun Krishnam Vande Jagadgurun. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. So today being Thanksgiving, if we will revisit this topic of surrender, what does surrender mean? And one of the principles or the tenets of surrender is having an attitude of gratitude. So that, if you have an attitude of gratitude, you are actually moving needle towards surrender as well. And then, and it is one of the greatest antidote. Having that gratitude is the greatest antidote to depression also. When people fall into the trap of depressive thoughts and nothing is happening in life, it is happening because we forget so many other graces that we have received. So when we keep that thing away from that knowledge slips away, or we don't think over it, then we get into that trap of negative thinking, pessimistic thinking and stuff like that. So just maintaining a gratitude journal itself can bring in a lot of transformation and positivity into our life. Okay, a lot of people already maintain that. It's a great habit to get into. Just think of two things that you are grateful for, and all the negativity and the pessimism in your life will start evaporating away. Yeah, just by contemplating on this piece of knowledge. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, again, I think there is, I don't know, I think I'm just missing out, or I need to just swap that slides. All right. So I'm going to recite it and you're welcome to follow along. We'll conclude this shloka today and then we'll move on to the next one. Tomorrow's session, by the way, is going to be the quiz session. And on the occasion of Thanksgiving, we are thinking of having a DWFBG team picture as well, a gratitude picture together. So that's what we are thinking. So you can be prepared, just giving you a heads up, but we'll conclude this shloka today. I'll recite it. You're welcome to follow along. Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittama sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Okay, let's take a few hands.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Shri Ramya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Shri Ramya.
Radhe Radhe. Api chetasi papebhya sarvebhya papakrittamaha sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrijanam santarishyasi. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Shri Ramya.
Aparna ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
Very nice,
Thank
Apanji.
you.
Thank you.
Sandhya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Sandhya.
राधे राधे अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृतमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
Very nice. Thank you, Sandhya. Let's take the remaining hands.
Yeah, Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवनैव रुजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Very nice, Dinesh ji. Thank you.
Riya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
Very nice. Thank you, Riya ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Two more hands. Radhe Radhe.
Falguni ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
राधे राधे अपि चेद असि पापेभ्य सर्वेभ्य पापकृतितमः सर्वं ज्ञानं प्लवेनैव वृजिनाम सन्तरिष्यसि. थैंक यू. राधे राधे.
Last but not the least, Pragi ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Pragi ji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृतं सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
Thank you,
Thank
Pragi
you.
ji. So let's get started. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, even those who are considered the most immoral of all sinners can cross over this ocean of material existence by seating themselves in the boat of divine knowledge. So the importance of knowledge, divine knowledge, or acquisition of knowledge cannot be overemphasized on the path of spirituality. In fact, it is said the 50% of the battle is to understand the theory properly. The fundamentals have to be right. And then the remaining 50% is to follow that theory and put it to practice. But having a sound theory or sound fundamentals is very, very important. That's half the battle on this path as well. Because if the theory is not clear or the path is not clear, what we are supposed to do, why we are supposed to do, how we are supposed to do, then it can be, you might be taking a few steps here, few there, but not really progressing to the true potential in which you could, if the theory is right, that the knowledge is bona fide knowledge is something that you're subscribed to. Now let's get started. We'll start with our soul soup segment. What do we have for the soul soup segment? We are doing the happiness fulfillment series. So as part of that, let's get started. So how about this car, okay, on a highway, which is speeding away, which has a broken steering and no brakes? What is likely to happen? It's a very tough question, so really have to think about it, okay? Must tell you that. It's a very, very difficult question. So it's a car, speeding car. It has a broken steering and no brakes, okay? Needless to say, we know what will happen if such kind of a car has a free run on a highway or in a traffic, right? So now we have been talking about enthusiasm and inspiration, right? That needs to be channelized and directed as well. It's fine to have enthusiasm, inspiration. A lot of people have it. But that itself does not solve the problem. It needs to be well directed as well. The direction in which you are applying it, it needs to be well directed. More importantly, how will you direct it in the proper direction? Because, and it needs to be backed with pure intention. Okay, that is the key. Because for all the enthusiasm and inspiration you may have in your life, for all you might be doing is causing your spiritual journey a lot of harm, and maybe a lot of harm to other people around as well. We don't know. That is a possibility too, right? We'll say how there are so many people who are so motivated in their life, in their professional life, in their personal life, a lot of enthusiasm that they carry, and they do good, great things in life as well. But is that all that matters? Let's try to understand this, right? So the key is, the last few sessions we have been talking about having a need for enthusiasm, the fuel of inspiration, and then how do we motivate ourselves internally as opposed to relying on external factors alone. Today we are going to talk about, for all the enthusiasm and inspiration that we have, the direction needs to be channelized as well. You need to have a pure intention behind what you are going to apply that enthusiasm and inspiration to. Let's understand it through a story. We have seen about, have you heard about Al Capone? Maybe not. He was also very talented, by the way, very motivated guy. But he was a notorious, and then there was another guy called Virappan. He was also very inspired and motivated, but he's a notorious dacoit, sandalwood dacoit. There's this movie made on him as well. So zeal was misdirected and harmful. Same thing with Shakuni also, right? Brilliant guy, but the where he had applied in enthusiasm and zeal was not in the right direction. So let's start with the case of, the intention aspect of it. So we'll talk about the story here. This few years ago, we know that there's India, started emerging as an IT superpower with that Y2K thing that started, and so many entrepreneurs coming along. One of the companies that mushroomed at that time was Satyam. And it was, what happened, and it was led, and what happened, there was a big scam that happened. It was probably one of the biggest corporate frauds to come to light in India. It had been, Satyam Computers had been at the forefront of India's IT revolution for many years. And its chairman, Ramalinga Raju, he was found to have swindled the company of over 10,000 crore rupees, which is close to 1.3 billion, or maybe a little less now, because Indian currency is deflating against dollar now. So close to $1 billion. He swindled his own, stakeholders with that. Now, when the high power inquiry that took place, it came to light that he was siphoning of funds by fraudulent means, such as non-existing employees on company rolls. So he was showing company rolls, there were no employees, he was showing it as an expense and just siphoning that money away. Loans to kith and kin, and a lot of insider trading and all that stuff that happened. And with that, he amassed a wealth. He had purchased villas, properties in 60 countries, 16 luxury cars, 300 pairs of shoes. He was a big shoe geek as well. Were found in his possession, and it shook the corporate world in 2009, leading to the collapse of that company. Now, he was finally convicted in 2015. Now, he undoubtedly had a lot of talent and intelligence. He did his MBA from Ohio, which is one of the prestigious schools here in US, and was enrolled in the owner-president management program at Harvard Business School. He had great management skills, foresight, immense desire to succeed, and he propelled Satyam to great heights during his tenure as well. What he lacked was one thing: the purity of intention. His enthusiasm, inspiration, all was good, but it was not well directed. He misutilized his God-given talents, connections, and resources for self-aggrandizement and puny gratification of senses that we've been talking about in Bhagavad Gita as well, right? Thereby cheating his shareholders, employees, investors who had trusted in him. So it's an extreme case of impure intention. But when we cater to, see, it's a very deep question here. Now, this is a very, very extreme case that we have taken. So let's for now understand. I'll not go too deep into it, because that will lead us to Karam Yoga, and I don't want to sidetrack our discussion today. But the point is, any endeavor that we take, if we do it with an impure intention, then your enthusiasm and inspiration, it's a double-edged sword. It can actually bring down or fast track your downfall as well. So it needs to be properly directed, and you need to check your intention behind any activity. Why am I doing it? Is it going to be beneficial for somebody else, or I'm just catering to my ego or my self-interest alone? And that intuitively you will get an answer, and we can use it as a compass or a guiding force to take decision and do take up endeavors that we do. Okay, hopefully it gives us some food for thought and food for soul as well. Now let's move on to our Bhagavad Gita discussion. Yesterday we spoke about three kind of tritaps: adhyatmic, right? All the stress that people feel, the physical ailments that we go through, the mental diseases that we have. These tritaf, the first of that is adhyatmic, nobody is immune from in this material world. Okay, people say that why do we need to invest our time in spirituality? What are we going to gain out of it? Okay, the point here is that there are things that we all get tormented with. Nobody likes to get sick. Nobody wants to deal with stress, anxiety, worries, and stuff like that. So these are the things you'll have to deal with because it is part and parcel of this material world. Okay, so Adhyatmik Tapa, that is the first one. Second one, we spoke about Adi Bhautik. You can get bitten by an ant or a snake or a dog, and you can be swindled by somebody, or somebody can do some harm on a gunpoint, or your boss may fire you or yell at you, or your neighbor may turn nasty, or your relative is not supporting. Those are called Adi Bhautik Taps, which we'll have to deal with as well, which other people bring upon us. Okay. And then the third one is Adi Devik, like tornadoes, hurricanes, disasters, natural disasters that happen, earthquake and stuff like that. Nobody has an immunity from it as well, right? Virus may come along as well. The point is that these tritaps is something that we'll have to deal with. In addition to tritaps, there is tridosh, panchaklesh, and other things. I'm not getting into that. The point is that in this material world, because now that we are in a conditioned state and made a resolve to enjoy in this material world only, we have to deal with this baggage that comes along with it. So we should not really complain or be surprised, hey, why did this happen? Anything can happen here because it is a dangerous place. And we spoke about a story of a guy going through the jungle as well, right, to illustrate this point. So this is a dangerous place, right? In addition to that, now let's continue this discussion. So we said that this is how Bhavasagar is, our scriptures say, material world is. And this is a pretty vast ocean, right? We keep on circumambulating within this material world in 8.4 million. We definitely need a boat and a good navigation there to get past this Bhavasagar of material world. So let's continue this discussion. That boat, basically, we said, is of divine knowledge. Only on the back of divine knowledge can one can learn to navigate and then one day cross over this Bhavasagar. Without knowledge, nobody can. Otherwise, we will keep rotating in this without having a better understanding on plan B or plan C in life, because that's all we know. That's what the world is doing. That's what we see around. So we continue to participate in this drama. Okay, there's no way out of it. The first step to that is the knowledge. Some spark will come and you will say, you know what, there's some purpose to life, some big purpose, or something more than that mundane life that we are leading. So that will lead you to ask for higher questions in life. That is how this process starts. And when you start seeking, the floodgates will start opening up, right? And hopefully when you meet a guru or a spiritual master, then your journey would be very streamlined. So knowledge is the only means to cross over this ocean. Let's build on this. Clan prarabdha and individual prarabdha. And then to in the point that we were trying to make, that nobody is immune from it, I'll give you some examples of great personalities. When they were not immune, how can we expect to be immune from these, right? For example, Bhishma, his 7 brothers had drowned. Great Bhishma. Draupadi, who was one of the Panchakanyas, who took birth from the fire, right? She was humiliated publicly. Pandava's sons, whose mama was Lord Krishna himself, they were all killed while they were sleeping. Yaduvanshi, which was nothing but Lord Krishna's own clan, entire clan was wiped off because of Gandhari's curse. Then, which one? Snakes, entire clan was burned down. We know that the beginning of Mahabharat, that Sarp Yagya that Janmejay was doing, because his father Parikshit was bitten by a snake, so he did a yagya and he wiped off, he was, burnt down so many snakes as part of that yagya. And then Dhritarashtra's sons, 100 of them got killed. So there are tons of examples. Think of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, if you think about it, who was the Panditji on his marriage? Vedvyas himself. And then whose father was Great Arjun, who was Nar Narayan Avatar. His uncle was Lord Krishna, Lord himself. Still he had to depart and he was killed. He was tricked and killed on the battlefield. Nobody could prevent that. So the point is that these kind of things, that all the three titaps that we talk about, we have to deal with as long as we are in this material world. The only way to get rid of these tritaps are when you have become God realized. You are past the cycle of life and death. Okay, now these are the four miseries that we all have to deal with: birth, old age, disease, and death. Jan, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi. These four are called fourfold miseries we all have to deal with. The material existence is a vast ocean where one is tossed around by the waves of birth, disease, old age, and death. Now you say why birth is a problem. It is very painful, actually, very painful when we keep on forgetting it. And as part of that pain, a lot of our memories are erased as well from past life. And so is death as well. It's like, I don't know how many thousand scorpions stinging you at the same time. Some people say, right, somebody passed away peacefully. Actually, death is a two-step process. First, the pain, we become unconscious, and then Mr. Yamaraj comes and does his job after that. So it is a painful process. But the good thing is, we don't remember it and will not remember it, and it's peaceful otherwise. And diseases, of course, nobody is immune to diseases. You can lead a very healthy lifestyle, make good choices, you can prolong it, but finally some kind of a disease will catch up with us, because material body is nashwar. It's like a machine which will eventually catch up with us, right? Like the story that we spoke about yesterday. And death, of course, it's a death is shedding the gross body and then taking on a new one. But these are called the four things that we'll have to deal with as long as we are in this material world. Somebody who takes birth has to die. Somebody who dies has to take birth again. This is how the process goes. Okay, football. I don't know where this football came from. Now, what it means is, in this material bondage, there is no respite for the soul, and endless lifetimes have gone by being subjected to these conditions. So what happens is, we go to heaven. If you do a lot of good karma, heaven is not God realization, by the way. It's a golden jail. It's like taking a trip to Hawaii and then having to come back as soon as the booking of the hotel, that date lapses. So you can go to heaven if you do a lot of good karma, or you could go to hell if you don't do good karma. Like, that is should not be surprising. So a lot of people who the news that we hear about, somebody did this atrocity and stuff like that, we may not see that, or courts here may not be able to bring justice to them in this lifetime. But there's no escape from God's law of karma. Karma never misses its state. So they go to hell basically for an extended period of time. Or if you do a mix of both, you'll come to earth. That is who we are. If we were truly good people, we should have been in heaven. If we were truly bad people, we should have been in hell. We are a mixed bag of, so that is why we come to Mrityulok. So this whole circle, it's like a football being kicked around the field. That is why the football is here, okay? The soul is elevated to the celestial abodes, dropped to hellish plane, brought back to the earthy realm, and according to its karmas of righteous or sinful deeds. So this is how the football, you see how it's going. So it keeps on rotating like this, okay? And we have been doing that for so many years, so many lifetimes now. Just give me a sec. Oh, yes. Yeah, Monica ji, you had a question? You didn't like the football, maybe the color should have been different.
Radhe Radhe, Monica ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. So Nitiji, I was listening to Maharaji today. One video popped up, Maharaji, and then somebody asked him that. I just wanted to share this thing on the topic of hell. That somebody was saying that we don't have body when we go to hell, so how come the pain? So he explained that when you see scary dreams, you don't in your dreams you don't have your body there, but you still get scared and you still feel the pain just in case if you're falling from somewhere or getting cut or whatever. So that kind of thing. So I thought I'd just share that.
Very true. So yeah, it's not like you are not able to experience it. For the things that we have to bear the pain, God has his ways to not, make sure you'll be given some kind of a day bhav where you can experience it, and you will realize, like a slideshow, this is the mistakes I have, and never again I'll do that. That's a different thing. We forget it, but yes, that experience will be there for sure. There's no escape from that experience. So if somebody has tortured somebody, then you can imagine the kind of pain. So basically the idea is that if you have made somebody go through some kind of an ordeal, this is the way, law of karma's way, or the justice dispensing system's way of sensitizing you and teaching you, this is how it feels like what you do without insensitivity to somebody. And that actually happens. So we got to be very, very careful about that. But as a devotee, when we start focusing our time and effort on devotion, nothing is driven out of fear. You just love God and everything else will start falling in place. That is the beauty of the path of devotion. The one could be, the spirituality starts with God acknowledgement. Okay, there is a divinity for sure, something bigger, something more powerful. So that is just a starting point. Then the second stage that comes in the path of spirituality is God-fearing. That, God is going to wrap my knuckles if I do this and that. So there's a lot of fear. That is why people do so many things, right? Out of fear. That is also a low level of. The highest is God loving. When you start loving God, fear takes a backseat. It's okay. If God so desires, so be it. But from our standpoint, we will not do anything bad, but we leave it to God. Whatever has to happen. But when you are going into part of devotion, as I'm going to tell you, it does a lot of stuff, actually, including wiping off your sins and even removing the cause of the sin itself. So on the path of devotion, we don't think too much about these things. The punishments and hell and all that stuff, that comes in God-fearing thing, but we have moved on to God-loving stage now. So let's not go back there. Now, divine knowledge provides a boat to cross over the material ocean. We've been talking about that. The ignorant, they perform karmas and get bound by them. Right? We spoke about this topic in great detail when we did Karma Yoga. So this is bounding karmas, where you perform karmas for the sake of your sensory satisfaction, and then you get bound with them. And the same karmas, when you do as a yagna to God, liberates the knowledgeable. So Bhagavad Gita is a science of what consciousness we should perform our deeds or karmas. Not that you stop doing that. Bhagavad Gita is not something that makes somebody give up the work that they are doing, contrary to popular belief, right? Whenever somebody talks about Bhagavad Gita, it's like, oh, are you going to become sannyasi? What happened? No, we are going to become smarter at our work, so that we are going to make every thought, every work, and every action that we do work to our advantage in long run. The science of work, it's just about doing the work in proper consciousness, not stop doing the work. That's not the message of Bhagavad Gita. So if you truly understand it, it's a science of work, SOW, that Lord Krishna has explained to Arjun that we all can benefit from. And then how do we move away from binding karmas towards non-binding karma is all spirituality is all about, okay? If somebody says what is the biggest gain from Bhagavad Gita, it's like understanding the science of work. We all have to work, right? It could be our professional work or working at home, wherever we go, some work we'll do. And what consciousness do we bring to the table or to the fold while performing that activity? If we can purify that, if we can sanitize that thought process behind it by understanding the deeper principles, that's it. That's all is needed. Now the knowledge becomes the means of cutting material bondage. But how do you do that? It's only when you come in contact with the Guru. Guru will explain you the Tattva Gyan. You will contemplate upon it. You will put faith in it. And then with God's grace, that will become your wisdom. And then once it has become the wisdom, you start applying it in your life. That is how the process unfolds, right? And that will help you cut through the shackles of Maya. That will help you do more of non-binding karma. That will help you progress more towards the surrendered state, ultimate surrender state that God is talking about. How does it start? It all starts with knowledge. If we don't have a knowledge, we can't progress, really progress. Okay, so moving on, Kathopanishad says, what does Kathopanishad says? It says that illumine your intellect with divine knowledge. Then with the illumined intellect, control the unruly mind to cross over the material ocean and reach the divine realm. So intellect is a higher faculty than mind. I hope you understand this concept. So here is the ocean, vast ocean that we've been talking about. And this intellect, when you empower your intellect to rule your mind, that becomes basically the boat. Okay, that is on the backdrop of the divine knowledge. Now intellect, man, buddhi, chit, ahankar, all are told as a, they are termed as a mind in our scriptures. So their mind is if you look at it, mind is, anybody has seen mind? It's Nirakar, nobody has seen mind. But we know there is mind. Mind is not brain, by the way. Brain is hardware. Mind is much more subtle. Chit is there. So it has 4 parts to it. One is the one which desires, like your man. I want to eat this, I want to experience this and all that stuff. The second one, the higher faculty than that, is your intellect. It has to take the approval of its intellect before it does anything. If your intellect says, don't do it, your mind will not do it. Like, for example, your mind be saying that, I'm feeling sleepy, I don't feel like getting up today. But your intellect will tell you today is Monday, Thanksgiving holiday is over, your boss will be waiting for you. If you don't go, it will not be nice discussion after that. So immediately you'll get up. So it's the same aspect of your mind. Both are subtle elements. One is telling the other. So intellect, when it is armed with right knowledge, then it can control the mind. Otherwise, mind is letting intellect play along with it. Mind will justify itself and say, it's okay, do it, go for it, kind of a deal. So our mind is called very unruly, and it is very stubborn, and it is our biggest enemy. Our mind is our biggest enemy. Scriptures are telling us. Mind is that friend which will always misguide you unless it has been controlled by the higher authority called intellect. And that intellect can only control it if it is armed with proper knowledge. If it is not armed with proper knowledge, like the Ramalinga story we had seen, he was also guided by his intellect, but his intellect was guiding him in a wrong direction. So the knowledge that you activate in your intellect will actually dictate what your mind ends up doing. And what your mind says, your senses will follow that. Your mind is giving the direction for the hand to go and catch that particular thing and put in your mouth. That's because your intellect has sanctioned it. This is how the process goes. So the boat that we are talking about is that of divine knowledge. Only when you subscribe to divine knowledge, activate it in your intellect, then you will be able to, intellect will be able to exercise its dominion or the power over the unruly mind. Otherwise, it will not be. So that is how it goes. Now let's look at what knowledge does. Knowledge, it destroys the sins. The spiritual knowledge that we are subscribing to, it actually destroys the sin. How? Because the knowledge in itself, when you contemplate upon the divine knowledge, right? Let's understand, knowledge itself will not. It's the implementation of that knowledge and the offshoot of other things that come out of that knowledge. They end up destroying the sins of so many lifetimes. The knowledge that if you remember God and recite his name, that itself will burn a lot of sins. If you do that, if you've already made it a practice to do that, start filling the gaps of your day. Similarly, the principles that we talk about in Bhagavad Gita, they can actually wash off your sins and start cleansing your antakaran. What else does it does? It destroys impurities that cause you to sin. It cleanses you as well. So first of all, the backlog of sins that you have, it will start destroying. Secondly, it will destroy the impurities that cause you to sin. That means it's doing the cleaning job as well. And third and most important thing is that it will remove the root that made your heart dirty to begin with. That also will be removed. Okay, so this is the power of divine knowledge. Now, how it folds? Ramayan's that verse is there that Jane binu na hoye paratiti, binu paratiti na hoye priti. So it all starts with knowledge. With knowledge, you gain faith. With faith, you gain love. So when you follow that cycle, all the three things will start happening. There was a story I had spoken about previously as well. There was a well in a village which used to give fresh water. There was only one well in that village. Until one day, a dog fell into it and died. And then the stinking or the stale water started coming out of it. The villagers, they were very taken aback by this development, and they went to a old man, wise man there, say, what do we do? We are getting, putrefied water now because it doesn't seem good. So he said, do one thing, just take out a lot of buckets out of that well. Let's empty that stale water and then see what happens. So they all, pulled their weight and they took out about 50-60 buckets, and they worked throughout the day until the fresh water started coming out. But that problem was resolved only temporarily. After a while, again, the stale water or putrefied water started coming out because the dog was still there. Right? So the problem did not get solved until they finally took the dog out. They figured out a way to take the dog out, and then the water was fresh. So, so that similarly, no matter what you are doing, the practice you are doing, right? There are so many self-help books which come, right? If you go to Amazon, you can find tons and tons of self-help books. But if that knowledge is written by a human, right, static knowledge, it's not divine knowledge, it will not bring about the transformation in you. You may get a symptomatic relief for a while, like that fresh water came for a bit, but the dead dog is still there. The impurity will not be cleansed. For that, you need to put your faith in divine knowledge only. The transformation that merely reciting, reading, and putting faith in Bhagavad Gita can bring in cannot be brought in by any book that you read that is written by a human author, no matter how hard you try. It may bring in symptomatic relief for a while, but taking out that dead dog can only happen when you go through the divine, to subscribe to the divine knowledge with trust and faith. And this is the power of knowledge, and this is the boat that Lord Krishna is talking about, which can enable even the sinners to cross over this ocean, because it destroys the sin. Gyan Agni Dagdha Karmani. Basically, Gyan Agni is so strong when you subscribe to this knowledge and say, okay, my God, this knowledge is so powerful and it makes so much sense and I want to really practice it. A lot of wonderful things will start happening. Why? Because you are actually doing an intellectual sacrifice for Krishna, God himself, who had given you this instruction. When you follow his instruction, he has to take care of you in that sense. And he takes care of you by destroying your sin, by destroying the cause of the sin and cleansing you along the way as well, based on how much Shraddha, Nishtha and surrender you are putting to that effort. So this is how this process goes. With that, we conclude this shloka, and then we move to the next shloka in our next session. I'm not sure whether it will happen on Sunday or not. I'll let you know. But any questions so far on what we have discussed? Yes.
Yes, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. So, knowledge, first theoretical, then realized, may still not necessarily lead to surrender, right? Or will it always?
Knowledge, merely knowledge will not. But see, if you look at the other definition of knowledge, knowledge will lead you to faith and love. Okay, that knowledge we are talking about here. They say, right, any knowledge, ज्ञान अज्ञान योग योग ज्ञान अज्ञाना जिन्हि राम प्रेम प्रधाना. So eventually knowledge is a real knowledge when it will lead you to develop love for God. So that knowledge we are talking about here. So divine knowledge is, there is no way that you are gaining divine knowledge and it is not leading you to fall in love with God or leading you to have more faith in God. That will never be the case. So when you do that, surrender is an automatic consequence of it as well. So your Sharanagat bhav will also start increasing.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was like, love and surrender, there will not be any gap. It will be automatic.
It has to happen when you progress. And see, it's like this: when you gain knowledge about something, your love gets, your love will increase for that particular thing, right? That story is there. There might be a broken piece of glass that you see and you have absolutely no love for it, and then you gain some knowledge about it. Somebody says, this broken piece of glass seems to be a precious gem. Then your love has increased. And then somebody else confirms it, it could be worth $100,000, and your love has swelled. And somebody says, no, by the way, it's a very rare jewel and it's more than 500,000. So your love has also increased. So when you gain knowledge about something, your love automatically starts increasing about it. And here we are talking about God himself, who's the Ras Sindhu. We do fall in love with in world also, right? But when you go to the center of, or the source of that, of course, we have to fall in love with that.
But this could still be a self-seeking love, not a selfless love.
That's true, but there's no condition basically that you get enlightened only if you do selfless love. There's no condition like that. Of course, you'll get the higher price. But if you love God, you surrender to God, you will get, you'll be enlightened at that point as well. It may not be the highest bliss of God that you may get, but you are still proceeding towards surrender there as well, right? Are you saying selflessly only one can surrender, or it could be?
I'm asking. I'm not, yeah, I'm just seeing, checking. What is it like?
Not necessarily. It could be a sakam bhakti also, right?
That will also lead to surrender.
It
Okay.
has to lead to. See, when you fall in love with somebody, even it is for your sake, you're still surrendered to that person, right? Even in world, people are. So here we're talking about God. So yeah, it's not that only if you become selfless will God take you to enlightenment. He has bitter butter, better butter, and all those gradations that he has created. So yes, selfless will give you the highest price, but God is saying, if you want to settle for the lower prices, I have provisions for that as well. Okay. Yes, Preeti
Yeah,
ji.
I see a lot of hand raised for the questions. Preeti ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yes, I agree with the divine knowledge part. I was very unaware that, I was identifying myself as a body until I met Swamiji. And then I realized I'm not the body, I'm the soul, and God is running my life, and that soul's getting energy from the higher power. And that changed my outlook for everybody. And then I was judging people before and having issues with relationship. And then Swamiji gave an example saying that this guy said, I all these friends, everybody is so close to me, I don't believe it. And then he pretended to die. And then Swamiji came and said, okay, whoever drinks the water will die and this guy will come back alive. So even the parents, the wife, nobody was ready to drink that water. So the other person comes back alive. So he said that actually nobody's yours in this world. Only God is yours, So with that realization of knowledge, my attitude towards all my relationship in my life changed. I came in peace with everybody, the good, bad, and ugly, because I realized that I need to develop deeper relationship with who is running my life, which is my higher power, than with all these other relationships that are just temporary as myself in this world. So the divine knowledge is definitely, it has changed my life tremendously and brought so much peace and so much just joy in my life that I haven't experienced before. So just wanted to share that divine knowledge definitely destroyed a lot of my anger, which was sinful anyway, and it was the root cause of my dirty heart. So I definitely.
Thank you, Preeti ji. Yes. The power of this knowledge is very transformative. If you simply keep on reading Bhagavad Gita, you would realize the version that you started off with and your current version, there is a lot of change in that, and that change is for good. It is powerful knowledge, right? It is the words which emanated directly from the mouth of God Himself. It's not an ordinary knowledge that we're talking about. And it is said that this knowledge, scriptural knowledge, is divine. It is not material knowledge. It is not static knowledge. It is God has put His Chitta Shakti into it. That means it's sentient. You are conversing with Krishna. Plus, the purer your heart starts becoming, the clearer the message will start becoming as well, and the deeper it will go in. So same shloka, when you read it, depending upon how much or whatever station of life you are in, it will carry different meaning for you. That is how deep this knowledge is. It's not like I've read it once, I've understood it. Not at all. You might have barely touched the surface, not even that, because these are very, very deep and profound knowledge that we're talking about. Yes, let's hear. I see Keshav ji has turned his video, so let's give Keshav ji
Yes.
and then
Yes.
we can get to the remaining hands as well.
Radhe Radhe, Keshav ji, please go ahead.
Radha Keshav ji.
Okay, let me please try to unmute.
Okay.
Yes.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and most deep question asked by Sandhya ji. So the thing is, the knowledge, intelligent, intellectual, these things are wisdom. The transcendental knowledge is wisdom. The transcendental knowledge is wisdom. Worldly knowledge makes you intelligent, intellectual, and whatnot. Now, if I see gold, I know it is gold. Though it may look silver or silver may look gold, but now I have so much gone deeper. I have no attachment with gold. Even diamonds, I don't need it. What for? Because at the end of death, at the time of death, I am zero. Everything for me is zero. So why worry? Why have attachment? Knowledge is good, but to experience knowledge is very difficult. But we have to, because we are studying very deeper subject, and Nitinji is working hard, making presentations and doing what not. I can't believe it. It is unbelievable, the work he is doing. So the work he is doing. And he is trying to connect the people to the Swamiji. But my now stage is, I want to connect people to God, Purushottam Krishna, and Purushottam Krishna alone. None other than Purushottam Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Keshav ji. I'm not doing anything at all, to be honest. I'm just doing my seva in my own little way. Whatever is happening, things that resonate with people, or if it helps them, move forward, or bring in that transformative effect, all those words are enabled by God and Guru. And the mistakes that I do, those I own. But yeah, it's my little bit of a seva, but it's all God and Guru's grace through which it is enabled. But thank you, Keshav ji. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Let's move on and take Falguni ji. Please go ahead, and then we'll come to Kumar ji and Annapurna ji. Yes, Falguni ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. Nitinji, I have just one small little observation to make, and then one question.
Okay.
The one observation is that just want to share a little bit that from the time I have been attending this classes since like last about 10 months or so, I can see a a micro change in me. Previously, when I used to do something or like something good, I used to always feel, "Hey, I did it. Look, I did this. I did this." There was that ego, that little pride in me. Now, after listening to all your classes, this Bhagavad Gita classes, when I do something, that gratefulness has come in me. Oh, thank you, God. You gave me the power, the energy, the resources to do it. So this change I can
Wonderful.
see in myself, which was not there before.
So
For that, I'm very
Falguni,
grateful.
I'm tagging you to talk about it in Gita Jayanti video that we are going to talk about. Okay, so you are one of the people who are going to talk about. But see, you said micro change. This is what you said, right? Small change.
Yeah, a small change. Yeah,
Trust me.
because I think there are many other big changes which need to come in me, but this is a very big thing because for me, it was always I did this, I made this, I
Okay.
presented this, and so on.
Sure.
But
Understood.
yeah.
What I'm saying is this minor change that you're saying is minor could take millions of lifetimes. Okay, unless you get this knowledge, divine knowledge, you put faith in it, and then you realize it. And with God's grace, if you're able to, realize it and start working towards it, and it started happening, this itself can take millions of lifetimes. Okay, so there's nothing small. Even a little bit of change in the soul is the biggest. It's not something easy to bring about, and that is why I say this knowledge has a power to give us a jump of million lifetimes. And that is the biggest charity anybody could do. So just imagine what gurus and why do they come here for. So for you it may be small, but trust me, for God it's a huge change that you've already
Yeah.
done. So very good to hear that. And please do give your short spiel on Gita Jayanti video series that we are starting from next week. Talk about whatever similar to what Falguni said. I'm sure you must have resonated with something. Think about it. You'll find tons of things, especially if you're been attending sessions for the last few months, and talk about it. It can inspire people, and nothing is small. Trust me, these are big changes. It can take multiple lifetimes to take a little bit of leap, from a spiritual standpoint. So thank you for sharing that, Falguni ji.
One small question I have, and there is a little confusion in my mind that
Yeah.
one time we are saying that I am Patit Pavan, I am sinner. So God, please have great.
Oh, no. Okay, finish your thought and then I'll say.
Yeah. So God, please be gracious to me. We are sinners. Okay, this is one thing, one view. Like the other view says that okay, you are a soul. You are you have uttered the name of, not you are a soul, but you have uttered the name of God. So then there can be no sin in you. So are these two positions or views contradictory, or there is some reconciliation between the two? I'm not sort of it confuses me.
No, so God is called Patit Pavan. We are not Patit Pavan.
No, yeah, sorry, I made a mistake. Yeah.
So God is called Patit Pavan.
Yeah.
God is also called Deen Bandhu. So, and God is also called Bhakta Vatsal, or God is also called Bhakta Vashya. Now, these are sentiments, are born out of humility and truly understanding. See, just think about it, Falguni ji. Even if we have performed one sin in one lifetime, first of all, it's not possible just to do. Every action that we do is full of sin. If you understand Bhagavad Gita, even a process, something as innocuous as speaking, is sinful because it is killing so many microbes. When we do cooking, that is also sinful because we are killing so many things in the process. When we are walking on the earth, that is also sinful. When we do some act, unless we are purely thinking about everything for the pleasure of it, that is also sinful because you're doing it for your own sake. When we are eating, unless you have offered it so there's so many, so no action in this world can be bereft of sin. Okay, so it doesn't mean if we are able to utter God's, actually, if we had washed away our sins and heart was pure, we cannot even utter God's name. You'll say the first name and you'll go into a trance after that. So it is a devotional sentiment that you're bringing in. You understand, we have done a lot of sins. It's not that we are bereft of sins. So by knowledge, you will understand that. But God is called Patit Pavan. He can actually, somebody like a Ratnakar who used to kill people and loot people for a living, so many sins he had committed. He became a saint, Trikaldarshi, because God has a power to purify you, provided you are willing to understand that it's like doctor will treat a patient only when a patient is willing to acknowledge he's a patient, right? So Patit Pavan, having that feeling that I am a Patit, or having that feeling that I am Deen, I am helpless, that is perfectly okay. And then only God will intervene. So it is a good sentiment as a devotee, I would say.
Okay.
Now
Thank you.
people will
Thank you,
say,
Nitin.
does that does that mean now I don't have any self-esteem? Anybody can come and do anything for no. We have spoken about that also. That is fine. That is more in the devotional sentiment for God. But when it comes to the world, you keep this position or that knowledge at the back of your mind that God is seated within me. He's always helping me, and that will give you a lot of self-confidence to face the world and do things to the best of your ability. So you have to keep both these sentiments hand in hand. In the world, you have to feel that with God's assistance, I can achieve anything, even impossible. But when it comes to divine realm, you have the sentiment that I need your help to progress further or to realize you in one day. So both sentiments have to go hand in hand.
Thank you so much, Nitin.
Thank you, Falguni-ji.
Thank you, Nitinji. There is a question in chat. Sri Ramya ji has asked, the knowledge often slips away. We tend to forget. Any tips in this regard?
I know knowledge slips away. It's a problem I think all of us, most of us will be facing. That happens, but when you next time it slips away, if your rebound is quicker, then I think you are on the right path. I'm not saying you'll become perfect or saint overnight. That's unrealistic. It's a journey. But then the good thing is that next time, if you're challenging yourself, I erred, that itself is a sign of progress. Previously, you would not even have thought about it, that some mistake happened, knowledge slipped. You would have justified yourself and moved on. So that itself is a sign of progress. But the one of the tips that is there is, which you could try is every day make a resolve before going to sleep. Think of things, which you could have done differently, where you erred before going to sleep, just for 5 minutes. And morning you take a resolve, I'll try to be better in those today. If you do this practice, you'll start seeing improvement in a lot of things. So let's say you're trying to work on your anger. Before going to sleep, see what are the 2 or 3 things that happened today where I could have done better, or I could have responded as opposed to reacting, or taken a pause, or done something different. And then by morning again take a resolve, today if I'm confronted with a similar situation, I'll do my best to do, and then pray to God, and then improvement will start happening. Like any other thing, everything requires practice. But in this thing, the good thing is when you do practice, you get help from an invisible hand also, based on how sincerely you want to do that practice. And then within a matter of few months or maybe even days, you'll start seeing a lot of improvement. But first step you only have to take and show sincerity around it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Nitinji.
All right.
I see 2 more hand raised.
Sure, we can
Annapurna
quickly
ji.
take those and then we can move on. By the way, tomorrow we have quiz. We have a picture day as well. So you can wear your best smile tomorrow and come prepared. We'll take a picture because it's Thanksgiving. So I thought it will be a good occasion to do that. And we'll have a quiz as well tomorrow. So yes, Kumarji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Kumarji, please go ahead.
Jai Hanumanji, who constantly chants Jai Shri Ram, whose name itself will make us pure. Nitinji, you were talking about Satyam Computers, right? Ramalinga Raju. Well, yeah, he was considered like a savior till he got caught, right? I don't know if this is true for most of the businesses wherein they are like playing with a lot of stuff, finding loopholes, either legal or illegal, and getting caught. And we hear about it almost every day, right? We can hear that. So, like there's a lot of temptations. For example, when I went to do my taxes a few years back, I asked the tax preparer, is there a way, why am I paying so much of taxes? I don't like it. Yeah, no one likes it, right? So he says, well, there are certain ways you can do it. I said, well, what is the way? Like obviously you should tell me that way. You're a tax preparer. He said, well, you can start I think S Corp or like a small company, just in name and all that stuff. You can write off expenses and all that stuff. I said, how will I have expenses? He said, you can just write it off, like no one is really going to do it. A lot of people do that. A lot of people open companies just for that, right? So a lot of temptation, and I was tempted initially, but luckily something was not feeling right in me of doing that. And I said, what will I gain? What will I lose? I felt that I would lose peace of mind. I would not be able to have a good night's sleep because I would be thinking about this. What happens if? What happens if that happens? And that's not good. At that time, I was not that much into spirituality as I am today. But luckily, God kind of showed me the way that that's not the way to go. So I just escaped there, while quite a few of my friends are still doing that. But anyways, each one to themselves, right? We don't need to kind of say who does what. But I think, one of the things to look at is every day, look at our conscience and see if our conscience is clear. That itself is a good exercise. And if you have done something wrong, forgive yourself, be kind to yourself, forgive the other person, and ask for forgiveness if needed. And thereby, we can start every day as a new day. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanumanji.
Yeah, great thoughts around it. Yeah, if our intuition guides us and we can latch on to that, nothing like it. And more often than not, I think that inner voice will tell you whether you are going with the right thing or a wrong thing. So I'm glad you are able to hear that voice and take corrective action before it was too late. So thank you for sharing that, Kumarji. Annapurnaji, please go ahead. By the way, is my voice breaking or is it coming clearly? Okay, great.
We can hear it properly.
Okay,
Annapurnaji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yes, I was listening to the conversation and you said that divine knowledge destroys the sin. I was thinking that only when you are God realized, God will wipe off everything, Tritap and Klesh and all your Sanchit sins, everything, But just knowing the knowledge and implementing part of it, can it destroy the sin and all these things? Three advantages.
We're talking about all the sins. We are talking about sins. So we are not saying here, see, divine knowledge will start washing away your sins. It's not means here it will wash away all your sins, right? So the process is talking about when you start subscribing to it's not 0 or 1. Either you have all the sins or you have 0 sins. There's something in between also, right? So when you start doing that, it starts washing away gradually.
Part of it will be washed just with listening to divine knowledge and trying to implement it.
Very true. It will start washing your antakaran, and as a consequence of that, your sins will also start washing along the way.
Okay. That's very encouraging. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so feedback tracker is there. I think let's post that and let's make the announcements. Tulsi Viva, there is an exciting marriage coming up in our town. You don't want to miss out on that marriage because the bridegroom is none other than Lord Krishna, who has recited Bhagavad Gita. So definitely you are all invited. And the good thing is that you can come as from the bridegroom side or bride side and feel free to crash the party either way as long as you're willing to dance. Okay. So that is one announcement. I think that Tulsi Viva is on December 2nd to 5th, I believe.
December 2nd, 4 p.m. Mehndi, Haldi, and December 1st is 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Pallaviji. Any other announcement on that?
Thank you, Nitinji. One quick announcement about I have posted all the feedback tracker. Please feel free to put your comments, questions in the feedback tracker. And also, please check out the link that I have shared for Swamiji's ongoing India trip and the upcoming India events. November 21st to 23 is Pune city. Swamiji is in the Pune city. Whoever is from Pune city, please do avail opportunity to be in the presence of divine presence of Swamiji. And Mumbai is 24 to 25th November. Vapi 27 to 28 November. Vadodara 29 to 30th November. And there are other dates in December also, which we have posted in the link. And Tulsi Viva, thank you for sharing, Nitinji, about it. And Tirupati Sadhana Shivar, which is starting from 26th January to 29th January 2024. I have shared the details of the event in the chat as well. Please take a look at it and please plan accordingly.
One thing to add, the December Shivir in Banara, that's the annual 7-day long sadhana Shivir, the registration has opened now. So whoever is interested in going there for the, like in Swamiji's words, the kind of sadhana in depth you can experience and feel in this Shivir, he says that you cannot feel in anywhere else in the world.
Which Shivir are you talking about?
December Shivir.
Oh, that registration is open now?
The registration is open now, so whoever is interested can
Whoever is
register.
interested, please do register for it, okay? It's going to be an awesome Shivir, I'm sure.
You might definitely see familiar faces as well, so yeah.
Sandhya ji, do you have a registration link for that?
I can share it, but also if one goes to JKYog India website, you will get all the details of all the upcoming events. So I can.
I think Payal ji was interested. She asked about Banaras Shivar.
I'll share the link, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yes, Shyamji, you wanted to add something?
Radhe Radhe Shyamji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radha, this is my Pallavi. No, just wanted a question because this Shiva in Banara, can we come there for a few days or it is that we have to be there for entire 1 week? Because
2 days should be
You can be
fine.
there for as long as you can.
Yeah.
okay.
There's no obligation that you have to be there like from start to end. Yeah.
Nobody plans to imprison you, Shyamji, there, okay? You can
ठीक है. Thank you so much for to know this. Yeah. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
So I
Radhe.
hope you are coming. Sunday is coming. Is that or can
No.
we? No.
No
I'm
idea.
not, but I'm just saying, you might see people, I'm just saying generally. But I've shared the link.
Oh, it's a big surprise for us. Let's plan all. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Shyamji. All right, so we move to our devotional segment then.
Yes. I don't see any hand raised, no questions right now.
I saw in feedback tracker Sunday, you wanted to go. Please go ahead, and then maybe a couple more hands, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. So I'll sing this bhajan. श्याम मेरे श्याम मेरे श्याम मेरे प्यारे श्याम मेरे श्याम मेरे श्याम मेरे प्यारे श्याम मेरे प्यारे श्याम मम स्वामी सखा सुत श्याम मम प्रिय प्यारे श्याम मम स्वामी सखा सुत श्याम मम प्रिय प्यारे श्याम मम प्रिय प्यारे मेरी गति तुम मेरी मति तुम मेरी रति तुम प्यारे मेरी गति तुम मेरी मति तुम मेरी रति तुम प्यारे मेरी रति तुम प्यारे तुम मेरे थे हो रहोगे है भरोसा प्यारे श्याम मेरे श्याम मेरे, श्याम मेरे प्यारे, श्याम मेरे प्यारे। जो तुम्हें है दीन प्रिय तो दीनता दे प्यारे। जो तुम्हें है दीन प्रिय तो दीनता दे प्यारे, दीनता दे प्यारे। तोरा सुख बनी जाए मम सुख, ऐसी मति करूं प्यारी। तोरा सुख बनी जाए मम सुख, ऐसी मति करूं प्यारी, ऐसी मति करूं प्यारी। ओ कृपा की भीख अब तुम, मोहि कृपालु ही प्यारे। श्याम मेरे, श्याम मेरे, श्याम मेरे प्यारे, श्याम मेरे प्यारे।
Very nice. Beautiful bhajan. Thank you, Sandhya. Do we have anybody else who wants to sing that? Very nicely sung. Or I can sing a couple of lines. I wanted to experiment my microphone today. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I hope the voice is not filtering out because, no? Is it okay? All right, let's try it. If it does, let me
Yeah.
know.
Let's try.
So we bought this, so that we can do occasional satsangs here. Sitting with family and all, and our little one gets excited when he looks at mic. So I thought we'll encourage him to sing that, right? So let's see how that goes. I'll sing a couple of lines only, okay? So don't worry. कदम की डारी झूले राधा प्यारी, कदम की डारी झूले राधा प्यारी, झूले राधा प्यारी झूलावे बनवारी, झूले राधा प्यारी झूलावे बनवारी, ब्रज नारी तेरे करतारी, गावे ब्रज नारी तेरे करतारी, कुंज विहारी फूले बलिहारी, कुंज विहारी फूले बलिहारी, कदम्ब की डारी झूले राधा प्यारी, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, कदम्ब की डारी झूले राधा प्यारी. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope there was no break in between.
It was breaking little bit,
Was
Nitinji.
okay.
Yeah.
As I suspected it would have, because the mic, it requires a bit of a different kind of a tuning. So experiment failed.
It was breaking.
Operation was successful at my end, but the patient died. Okay, so Lesson learned. All right. So thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Be prepared for the quiz. And Arya, how are you doing? So good to see you. I saw her beautiful picture, and she is our youngest devotee now. How many she now, Pooja ji?
She has entered 6 months, so Nitinji she'll be completing 6 months on 13th
6
of December.
months. Yeah, she is wide awake and so focused,
Nitinji, she gets super excited when she hears singing you. I must say that.
Very nice. She's so cute. I hope we can meet her one of these days. I think once she's old enough, you can plan to come maybe, this time around, if you think it's
Absolutely, Nitinji.
Love to.
Absolutely. She's
But
definitely meeting Swamiji tomorrow, though.
tomorrow?
Yes, I'm in Mumbai right now.
Oh, you're
So
in
we had planned
Mumbai.
this visit to India. Yeah.
Yes. That'll be awesome. Let me know how that experience goes.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And Laddu, I see you as well. So good to see you. Good to see you back.
Radhe Radhe Bhaiya.
Radhe Radhe. So be prepared for giving that quick video testimonial, okay? You're going to come here and tell how
Sure.
Bhagavad Gita has changed your life, okay? And you're going to talk for 5 minutes.
Okay, Bhaiya. I've reached Mumbai.
All the
So
people
I'll
I'm
be
seeing on
meeting
screen have to
Swamiji
come anyway.
tomorrow with my sister.
Yes, that'll be nice.
Okay, Bhaiya.
Okay, thank you. Always good to see little Arya.
Sure, Nitinji. I'll try my best to keep her around majority of the time.
Please
Whenever
do.
she. Sure.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a great evening. And I'll see you tomorrow in the quiz, Bhagavad Gita quiz. And happy Thanksgiving again to all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nitinji. Especially happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And stay blessed. Thank you, everyone, for wonderful participation. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.